lost $520,000 from our family gym franchise in a single afternoon because my brother Travis manufactured a fake loan document and forged my signature. Riding this on a fresh account because my sister knows my main. Everything else stays. I'm Wes, age 34, a corporate operations manager turned fitness franchise co-owner in Columbus, Ohio, where I grew up. If you want to see how greaseball relatives get wiped out by their own greed, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. My dad, Henry, started Iron Pulse Fitness back in 1998. He began with a single, gritty warehouse location filled with welded steel and heavy iron. By the time I graduated from Ohio State with a degree in business administration, he had expanded to 4 profitable locations across the metro area. Dad was a workhorse. He believed in clean books, local marketing, and treating members like real people. My older brother, Travis, believed in shortcuts. Travis was the classic golden child. He had the charm, the expensive haircut, and an absolute allergy to actual labor. Dad tried for a decade to teach Travis the ropes, but Travis preferred spending his time at the local country club, trying to look like a high-rolling investor while charging his bar tabs back to the corporate account. When Dad passed away unexpectedly 3 years ago, his will was simple. The 4 gym locations and the Umbrella Limited Liability Company were split 50-50 between Travis and me. Dad thought this would force us to work together. He thought my operational discipline would balance Travis's outward-facing charisma. Dad was wrong. Dead wrong. The day after the funeral reception, Travis showed up at the main office wearing a brand-new Rolex Submariner and driving a leased BMW M5. He sat in Dad's old leather chair, put his feet on the mahogany desk, and told me he would handle the high-level strategy while I managed the day-to-day grind. I told him we needed to review the quarterly tax payments first. He laughed, waved his hand, and told me not to worry about the boring details. For the first year, I kept my head down. I managed the staff, optimized the membership billing cycles, and negotiated better rates on our equipment leases. The gyms were printing money. Each location generated roughly $45,000 a month in net profit. But every time I looked at the master corporate treasury account at Fifth Third Bank, the numbers did not add up. We should have been sitting on a massive capital surplus for our planned 5th location in Dublin, Ohio. Instead, the balance constantly hovered near our operational minimums. I would notice random withdrawals. A $12,000 wire to a marketing consultant with a generic name. A $8,500 check written out to cash for event promotion that never happened. Whenever I confronted Travis, he would dismiss me. He would claim it takes money to make money, and tell me that my small-minded corporate attitude was holding the business back. The real trouble started last summer. I was reviewing our vendor invoices when I noticed a recurring monthly charge of $6,200 to a company called Apex Logistics Ohio. We are a fitness chain. We do not use logistics firms. We buy supplements from established distributors and fitness equipment from national manufacturers. I dug into the state business registry. Apex Logistics Ohio was registered just 14 months prior. The registered agent listed was a local real estate attorney who happened to be Travis's closest college friend. I went into our accounting software and pulled the PDF invoices. They were incredibly vague. They listed services like strategic consulting and regional demographic analysis. I called Travis into the main office on a rainy Tuesday morning. I had the invoices printed out on the desk. I asked him directly what Apex Logistics was doing for Iron Pulse Fitness. Travis did not even blink. He poured himself a cup of coffee, smiled, and said they were handling the preliminary site scouting for our new location. I told him that I had already done the site scouting myself with a local commercial broker. I told him the fees were exorbitant and lacked any supporting documentation. Travis's smile vanished. He slammed his mug down and told me that as co-owner, he had the legal authority to hire vendors. He said, I was acting like a jealous employee rather than a partner. He walked out of the office and slammed the door so hard the drywall cracked near the frame. 3 weeks later, the bombshell dropped. I received a formal notice from a local law firm representing Travis personally. Attached to the letter was a copy of a promissory note dated 2 years back. The document claimed that Iron Pulse Fitness had borrowed $520,000 from Travis's personal holding company to fund capital improvements across all 4 locations. The note stated that the loan was fully matured, and since the corporation had failed to make repayments, Travis was exercising his right under a default clause to seize my 50% ownership stake in the LLC as collateral. At the bottom of the document were 2 signatures. One was Travis's, the other was mine. I stared at the paper. My hands were perfectly steady, but my mind was racing. I had never seen this document in my life. I had never signed it. The signature looked like mine, a passable imitation of my hurried cursive, but I knew with absolute certainty that I had never authorized a $520,000 debt. If this document held up in court, I would be stripped of my entire inheritance. I would be kicked out of the business I had spent years building, while Travis would walk away with 100% of a fitness empire worth nearly $3 million. The next morning, I took the original document to a certified forensic document examiner in downtown Columbus. I paid her a $3,500 retainer out of my personal savings account. I gave her dozens of examples of my real signature from old corporate filings, lease agreements, and bank cards. She spent 4 days analyzing the document under specialized lighting and high magnification microscopes. While I waited for her report, I quietly went to Fifth Third Bank. Because I was listed as a full administrator on the corporate accounts, I requested a complete, unredacted history of all digital signatures and login protocols associated with our online banking portal for the past 24 months. The bank records revealed something incredible. The digital signature on the electronic version of the promissory note had been uploaded through Travis's internal administrative portal at 11:42 p.m. on a Saturday night a year ago. Even better, the forensic document examiner called me into her office with a definitive verdict. The physical signature on the printed copy was a clear trace job. She showed me the microscopic hesitation marks and the unnatural ink density where the pen had stalled. She wrote a formal, 20-page report concluding that the signature was an undeniable forgery. Armed with this information, I did not call the police right away. I did not confront Travis. If I moved too fast, his attorney friend would help him scrub the paper trail or shift assets out of the corporate treasury before I could secure them. I needed to let Travis think he was winning. I needed him to take the final step so his trap would snap shut on his own neck. I instructed my own attorney to send a formal response to Travis's lawyer. The letter stated that we were reviewing the validity of the loan and requested a 30-day extension to verify the corporate ledger. Travis fell for it completely. He thought I was panicking. He thought I was scrambling for a defense. That weekend, he threw a massive pool party at his suburban home in New Albany. He bought a luxury outdoor kitchen setup and hired a professional catering team from an upscale steakhouse. My sister called me from the party, completely oblivious to the war that was happening behind the scenes. She told me Travis was telling everyone that he was becoming the sole owner of Iron Pulse Fitness and was planning to sell the entire chain to a national private equity firm for a massive payout. She asked me if I was okay with being bought out. I just smiled over the phone and told her that Travis had big plans, but the final numbers had not been settled yet. While Travis was drinking expensive tequila by his pool, I was sitting in my apartment with my forensic accountant. We found the missing links. The $520,000 loan was entirely fictional. Travis had never transferred a single dime into the corporate accounts. Instead, he had used the forged document to create a fake liability on our internal balance sheet. He had then used that fake liability to justify the regular cash withdrawals to Apex Logistics, effectively embezzling corporate funds to pay off his personal credit cards and the lease on his BMW. The total amount he had systematically drained over 2 years came out to exactly $184,600. The open loop was now closing. I knew how he did it, I knew where the money went, and I had the proof that he had forged my name to steal my half of the inheritance. But I needed a proactive mechanic to finish him. I did not just want to defend myself in probate court. I wanted to strip him of his ability to ever touch the family business again. I discovered that our corporate operating agreement had a specific, often overlooked clause regarding fiduciary duty. The clause, written by my dad's original corporate lawyer 20 years ago, stated that if any member of the LLC engaged in verified fraudulent activity against the corporation, their voting rights would be automatically suspended, and the non-offending member would have the immediate right to purchase their shares at book value, minus any damages caused to the company. I did not wait for Travis to file a lawsuit to enforce his fake loan. I struck first. On a Monday morning, while Travis was presumably sleeping off his weekend festivities, I filed an emergency ex parte motion in the Franklin County Common Pleas Court. An ex parte motion is a legal request made by one party without notifying the other side in advance, used when there is an immediate risk of asset destruction or fraud. Attached to my motion were the forensic document examiner's report, the bank login tracking data, and the forensic accountant's analysis of the Apex Logistics ledger. I requested an emergency temporary restraining order to freeze Travis's corporate access, suspend his operational authority, and lock him out of the bank accounts to prevent further dissipation of company funds. The judge read the filings, looked at the clear evidence of forgery and embezzlement, and signed the order within 2 hours. By 1:00 p.m., I had delivered the signed court order to Fifth Third Bank. The commercial banking department immediately revoked Travis's security tokens, canceled his corporate credit cards, and locked his online access. Next, I changed the digital locks at all 4 gym locations. I notified our regional managers that Travis was no longer authorized to enter the properties or speak to staff regarding corporate business. I scheduled an emergency mandatory meeting with our entire corporate staff for the next morning. The trigger event occurred at our flagship location in Upper Arlington. Travis pulled into the parking lot around 10:00 a.m., completely unaware that his world had already ended. He walked up to the front entrance, wearing his signature designer sunglasses, and tried to swipe his executive key card. The scanner flashed red. He tried it again. Red. He slammed his hand against the glass door and yelled at the front desk receptionist to let him in. The receptionist, following my exact instructions, called me radioing from the back office. I walked out to the lobby, accompanied by 2 off-duty police officers I had hired for private security that morning. I opened the door just wide enough to stand in the frame. Travis looked at the officers and then looked at me, his face flushing bright red. He shouted, "What the hell is this, Wes? My card is dead. The bank app says my login is invalid. Undo this right now or my lawyer will have you in handcuffs by noon." I held up a manila folder containing the signed court order and the forensic reports. I spoke calmly, ensuring my voice carried across the busy lobby where members were working out on the cardio machines. I said, "Travis, you are officially barred from the property. A judge signed an emergency order yesterday freezing your corporate access due to grand theft, embezzlement, and criminal forgery." Travis scoffed, trying to maintain his arrogant posture. He said, "You are losing your mind. I have a signed promissory note for $520,000. You signed it yourself. The business owes me that money, and your half of the company belongs to me." I opened the folder and pulled out the forensic document examiner's conclusion. I pointed to the enlarged color photographs showing the traced line work. I told him, the forensic state expert confirmed you traced my signature on a Saturday night from your personal laptop. The bank gave us the exact IP address and metadata for the upload. There is no loan. There never was. You used a fake document to embezzle $184,600 through a shell company called Apex Logistics. The color drained from Travis's face instantly. His mouth opened slightly, but no sound came out. The two security officers stepped forward, their hands resting near their belts. I continued, my voice sharp and precise. Under Section 9, 2 of our corporate operating agreement, your fraudulent actions have automatically suspended your voting rights. I have already executed the corporate buyout option. The current book value of your 50% stake is $1.1 million. However, after deducting the $184,600 you stole, the $42,000 in unauthorized country club charges, and the legal and forensic fees of $55,000, your payout is significantly reduced. And here is the best part. The court has ordered your remaining funds to be held in an escrow account until the state concludes its criminal investigation into the forgery. Travis took a step back. He looked at the paperwork, then at the officers, then at the receptionist who was watching the entire exchange with wide eyes. His carefully constructed persona of the wealthy, untouchable older brother crumbled into dust right there on the sidewalk. He whispered, "Wes, please, we can talk about this. We are brothers. Dad wouldn't want this." I looked him dead in the eye and said, "Dad wanted a business built on honesty. You wanted an ATM funded by fraud. Talk to my lawyer." I stepped back inside and locked the door behind me. Travis stood in the parking lot for another 3 minutes, staring at the glass, before slowly walking back to his leased M5 and driving away. The legal fallout was absolute and devastating for him. His attorney friend immediately dropped him as a client to save his own license when he realized the depth of the electronic paper trail I had secured. Travis tried to fight the buyout valuation in court, but his defense was completely non-existent face-to-face with the forensic evidence. The judge finalized the corporate restructuring 3 months later. I am now the 100% sole owner of Iron Pulse Fitness. The business is thriving. Without Travis's constant cash drains, our treasury recovered rapidly. We officially broke ground on our 5th location in Dublin last month, and our net revenue is projected to clear $2.4 million this fiscal year. Travis had to sell his luxury car, move out of his New Albany home, and move into a small rental apartment across town. Because he has no income and his remaining inheritance is tied up in court-ordered escrow, he is currently working as a mid-level sales rep for a commercial equipment distributor, answering to a boss half his age. My mother and sister tried to convince me to drop the charges and give him back his share, but I showed them the receipts. When they saw the exact dollar amounts and the forged signature, the family silence was deafening. I saved my dad's legacy, protected my own future, and proved that a clean paper trail will always run over a charming liar. If you want to hear about the time my cousin tried to claim my grandmother's $300,000 lakeside cottage using a handwritten codicil she allegedly signed while in a medically induced coma, let me know in the comments below.